Have you ever felt like you were being drained by someone, even when that person didn't do anything apparently wrong? Like there was an invisible force sucking your energy, leaving you exhausted for no apparent reason. This isn't a coincidence. It's the toxic energy of the narcissist in action. Wayne Dyer always said that we are energetic beings living a human experience. And when you're close to a narcissist, your vital energy is literally sucked out to feed that person's emotional void. It's like having an energy vampire glued to you 24 hours a day. Maybe you don't realize it consciously, but your body already knows. That tension in your chest when they come home, the knot in your stomach when the phone rings, and it's them calling. The feeling of always walking on eggshells, even in supposedly good moments. What most people don't understand is that narcissists don't need to be screaming or being abusive to drain you. They do it just by existing in your space. It's a constant and silent energy transfer that happens at the deepest level of your being. You might even think you're imagining things, that maybe you're too sensitive, but your instinct is right. There's an invisible energy war happening, and you're losing battles you didn't even know you were fighting. I'll show you exactly how this works and how you can protect yourself. Toxic energy isn't just a mystical concept. It's a scientifically proven reality. Research in neuroscience shows that our brain waves literally synchronize with the people around us. When you're close to someone with constant negative energy, your brain starts to mimic these destructive frequencies. Narcissists operate on a specific frequency, the frequency of fear, control, and emotional emptiness. They can't generate positive energy on their own, so they become energy parasites that feed off other people's vitality. Imagine your energy field as a well-tended garden. The narcissist is like a pest that gradually corrodes the plants. At first, you might not even notice. Some yellowed leaves here, a flower that doesn't bloom there. But over time, the entire garden of your inner peace becomes devastated. Wayne Dyer explained that negative thoughts create a cascade of stress hormones in the body. When you live in a state of constant hypervigilance, which is what happens with narcissists, your nervous system never rests. Cortisol, adrenaline, and other stress hormones flood your organism daily. The result? Chronic fatigue, unexplainable anxiety, depression, digestive problems, frequent headaches. Your body is literally being poisoned by the toxic energy you absorb. And here's the worst part. Narcissists intuitively know that you're a source of clean energy. They naturally gravitate toward empathetic, sensitive, and kind people because these people have more energy to be stolen. That's why you can feel exhausted after spending time with them, even if nothing dramatic happened. They don't need to scream or attack. Their mere presence creates a negative force field that sucks your vitality like a drain. By the way, leave a comment down there telling me which city you're watching from. I'm curious to know where the people who are waking up to this reality are located. But here's something that will shock you. There's a specific way they use to amplify this energy theft, and it's something you probably can't even imagine. The narcissist's most devastating method isn't direct attacks. It's something much more subtle and destructive, creating an environment of constant tension. They transform your home, your relationship, your life into an emotional minefield where you never know when you're going to step on a bomb. They do this through what I call passive energy terrorism, long sighs when you speak, silences loaded with judgment, disapproving looks that last only a second but remain engraved in your mind for hours. Wayne Dyer always emphasized that inner peace is our natural state, but narcissists are specialists at sabotaging this peace without leaving evidence. They create a psychological climate where you constantly feel inadequate, but you can never point out exactly what's wrong. It's like living in a house where the temperature is always a few degrees off comfortable. It's not cold enough for you to complain, nor too hot to be unbearable. But it's enough to drain your energy over time, trying to adjust to the constant discomfort. They make seemingly innocent comments that plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Wow, you look tired today. Interesting choice of clothes. Are you sure you understood that correctly? Each phrase is carefully calibrated to create insecurity without sounding malicious. The cruelest part is that when you try to explain how you feel, they make you seem crazy. I just made an observation. Why are you being so sensitive? You're interpreting everything wrong. Maybe you should seek help. You've been very paranoid lately. This constant gaslighting creates what psychologists call alternative reality. You begin to question your own perception, your feelings, even your memories. It's like your own mind is hijacked and reprogrammed to doubt itself. And while you spend precious mental energy trying to decipher what's real and what's imagination, the narcissist continues feeding off your confusion. Every moment of doubt you feel is energy that was transferred to them. The result is that you become a shadow of who you were before. Your vibrant personality is replaced by a cautious, insecure, and exhausted version of yourself. But there's a specific pattern they follow to intensify this process. And when you recognize this pattern, everything changes. There's a perverse cycle that keeps you trapped in the narcissist's energy web. It's a pattern so predictable that once you see it, you can't unsee it. I call it the toxic energy dependency cycle. First, they create emotional scarcity. They withdraw the affection, attention, approval that you naturally expect from a healthy relationship. Not dramatically, but gradually, like a faucet that slowly closes until you realize you're thirsty. Wayne Dyer always said that what we focus on expands. Narcissists know this intuitively. They make you focus on scarcity, on lack, on what's wrong. Your mind becomes obsessed trying to recover the connection that was withdrawn. Next comes the energy crumb phase. After weeks or months of coldness, they give you a moment of attention, a compliment, an affectionate gesture. It could be something small, a longer hug, you look beautiful today, an invitation to do something together. And then the toxic magic happens. Your brain releases a massive discharge of dopamine, much greater than would happen in a normal relationship. It's like being dehydrated in the desert and receiving a sip of water. That sip becomes the most precious thing in the world. Your nervous system literally becomes addicted to this pattern. The scarcity followed by reward creates an addictive neurological loop. You become dependent on the moments when they choose to give you attention. That's why you feel so good when they're finally nice to you. But here's the trap. This joy you feel doesn't come from a healthy place. It comes from the desperate relief of finally receiving crumbs from the person who was depriving you of emotional nutrition. It's like being grateful to the jailer who gives you a glass of water after leaving you thirsty for days. The third stage is sudden withdrawal. Just when you relax, just when you think things are getting better, they withdraw again, and the cycle restarts. Each time more intense. Your brain becomes programmed to chase these crumbs. You become addicted to the chemistry of temporary relief. That's why even knowing the person is toxic, you can't leave. But there's a way to break this poisonous cycle, and it involves a radical energy shift they never expect. The narcissist's most powerful weapon isn't explosive anger or obvious manipulation. It's something much more subtle and devastating. They turn you into the very agent of your own energy destruction. They make you attack yourself internally so they don't have to get their hands dirty. How? Through the systematic implantation of self-doubt. They plant small seeds of questioning about your own perceptions, memories, and feelings, until eventually you become your own cruelest internal critic. Wayne Dyer explained that we are our own worst enemies when we allow external voices to become our inner voice. The narcissist does exactly this. He programs your mind to attack you from within, even when he's not physically present. You start to constantly question yourself. Am I being too dramatic? Maybe I'm the one interpreting everything wrong. What if I'm the problem? Why can't I be easier to deal with? This internal critical voice consumes an absurd amount of mental energy. It's like having a computer program running in the background, crashing the entire system. You spend more energy mentally attacking yourself than the narcissist needs to spend manipulating you. And here's the diabolical genius. When you're busy destroying yourself internally, you don't have energy to question their behavior. All your mental strength is focused on analyzing your own flaws and exaggerations. That's why people in narcissistic relationships often develop generalized anxiety. It's not anxiety about the outside world. It's anxiety about your own thoughts and reactions. You become afraid of your own mind. The narcissist implants phrases that keep echoing in your head. You're too sensitive. You complicate everything. You're never satisfied. Other people don't get bothered by this. These phrases become a mental virus that corrodes your self-esteem from the inside out. And when you try to validate your feelings by seeking external support, they've already anticipated it. They've planted a carefully constructed image of themselves as a suffering, patient person who tries everything with you. So when you complain, people think you're ungrateful or problematic. It's a perfect system of energy isolation. You're trapped between internal invalidation, your own programmed critical voice, and external invalidation, people who believe the narcissist's narrative. But there's a weak point in this entire system, a vulnerability they can't control. Here's the truth every narcissist tries desperately to hide. They are completely dependent on your energy to survive emotionally. Without you feeding their empty ego, they literally collapse. They need you much more than you need them. That's why they make sure to keep you always insecure, always questioning your own worth, because if you discovered the real power you have over them, the game would end instantly. DYER always taught that knowledge is power, but knowledge without action is just entertainment. And the action that will transform your life is understanding that you are the energy source in this dynamic. You have control, even if you don't know it. Think about it. Who needs whom more? The person who is constantly trying to prove their worth, or the person who naturally accepts that they're valuable? The narcissist spends their entire life building a false image to impress others. That's desperation, not strength. They know they're emotionally empty inside. That's why they surround themselves with people they can use as mirrors to reflect a positive image back to them. Without this constant reflection, they confront the abyss that exists where there should be a real personality. When you understand this, you realize that all the superiority they display is pure theater, a desperate performance to hide the gigantic insecurity they feel. It's like a building with a beautiful facade, but that's crumbling inside. And here's what terrifies them most, that you discover you don't need their approval to be happy, that you realize you can be complete, fulfilled, and at peace without needing their validation. That's why they do everything to keep you small. They criticize your dreams, minimize your achievements, make you doubt your abilities. It's not because they want what's best for you. It's because your success and independent happiness are an existential threat to them. A narcissist can't deal with someone who doesn't need them. It's like a vampire discovering you don't have blood to offer. Suddenly, all the power they thought they had simply disappears. But there's a specific technique you can use to completely reverse this energy dynamic. And when you apply this technique, something extraordinary happens. They start to lose interest in you automatically. It's as if you become invisible to their toxic radar. Want to know what this technique is? There's a powerful technique that completely reverses the energy dynamic with a narcissist. I call it the inverse energy mirror. And when you master this, you become practically immune to their emotional vampirism. The concept is simple. Instead of absorbing their negative energy, you reflect it back like a mirror, not aggressively or dramatically, but through absolute energy neutrality. Wayne Dyer always talked about the transformative power of non-resistance. When you stop resisting their toxicity and simply allow it to pass through you without sticking, something magical happens. It loses all power. Here's how it works. When the narcissist makes a comment to drain your energy, instead of reacting emotionally, which is what they want, you respond with complete neutrality. Interesting, or okay, or simply serene silence. Don't try to defend, justify, or convince. Don't give them emotional fuel. It's as if you were a smooth wall where nothing sticks. All the toxic energy they project simply bounces back to them. The result? They become completely destabilized. It's like a vampire trying to suck blood from a marble statue. It doesn't work, and they become confused, frustrated, and gradually lose interest. But here's the most important part. This neutrality can't be performative. It has to come from a genuine place of internal detachment. You're not pretending not to care. You genuinely don't care anymore about their opinion of you. It's like developing an emotional immune system. At first, you might still feel the impulse to react, to defend yourself, to prove your point. But with practice, you develop a kind of energy Teflon where nothing sticks. The key is understanding that you don't need to convince anyone of your truth. You don't need to prove you're right. You don't need to win arguments. When you stop playing their game, you automatically win. Imagine how frustrating it is for someone who feeds on drama to discover that you simply won't provide drama anymore. It's like an arsonist discovering you've become fireproof. And here's the bonus. The less you react, the more they expose themselves. In the absence of your emotional energy, they become desperate and start showing their true face for everyone to see. But there's a fatal mistake most people make when trying to apply this technique, and this mistake can make everything even worse. The biggest mistake people make when trying to protect themselves energetically from narcissists is confusing neutrality with passivity. They think becoming zen and accepting everything will solve the problem. This isn't protection, it's submission, masked as spirituality. Energy neutrality doesn't mean accepting abuse. It means not feeding drama with your emotional reaction, but it also means establishing clear and unbreakable boundaries. You can be calm and firm at the same time. Wayne Dyer always emphasized that true spirituality includes self-love and self-protection. You don't need to be anyone's doormat in the name of inner peace. In fact, allowing abuse is the opposite of peace. It's self-destruction. What happens when you just accept everything is that the narcissist interprets this as a green light to intensify attacks. They see your passivity as weakness and step even harder. It's like showing a predator that you won't fight back. True neutrality comes accompanied by natural consequences. You don't react emotionally, but you also don't stay available for more abuse. It's like water, flexible but unstoppable when it finds its path. For example, if someone is disrespecting you, you don't need to scream or make drama. Simply remove yourself from the situation. I'm going to remove myself from this conversation. And leave. No explanations, no justifications, no giving ammunition for more manipulation. The fatal mistake is trying to explain your boundaries to a narcissist. It's like trying to teach empathy to a shark. They won't understand, won't respect, and will use your own words against you later. Healthy boundaries aren't negotiable and don't need approval. You simply implement them through your actions. If someone treats you badly, you reduce their access to your life. Simple as that. Many people get stuck trying to make the narcissist understand why certain things are important to them. It's a waste of time and energy. It's like trying to convince someone colorblind about the beauty of a sunset. They literally can't see what you see. Real energy protection combines inner serenity with decisive outer action. You maintain your peace, but you also maintain your dignity. You don't feed drama, but you also don't accept disrespect. It's this combination that really disarms a narcissist. They can't get your emotional energy, but they also can't use you as a punching bag. But there's a specific moment when this technique reaches its peak effectiveness. There's a specific moment, a turning point, when your new energy completely neutralizes the narcissist's power over you. It's like the exact moment when a butterfly emerges from its cocoon, irreversible and transformative. This moment happens when you stop needing their approval, not just intellectually, but viscerally, cellularly, absolutely. It's when you genuinely don't care anymore whether they find you interesting, beautiful, intelligent, or worthy of love. Wayne Dyer called this the awakening from need, when you realize you don't need anything more from anyone to be complete. It's a moment of absolute freedom that some take decades to achieve. You'll know you've reached this point when their poisonous comments simply bounce off you like rain on an umbrella. Not because you're actively protecting yourself, but because it genuinely doesn't resonate with anything inside you anymore. It's like when you completely get over an ex-love, the songs that used to make you cry are now just songs. There's no emotional charge, no wound being poked. It's genuine neutrality, not a performance of indifference. At this moment, something extraordinary happens. The narcissist starts to despair. They initially intensify attacks like a wounded animal trying to bite. But when they realize they can no longer extract emotional energy from you, something in them simply gives up. It's as if you've become invisible to their toxic radar. They literally lose interest because there's nothing left to suck. You've become energetically useless for their purposes. And here's the most beautiful part. When this happens, you don't feel anger, resentment, or need for revenge. You feel distant compassion, like when you see someone trapped in a cage they built themselves. You understand that their toxicity was never about you. It was about the insurmountable emptiness that exists inside them. You were just the temporary mirror they used to avoid facing that emptiness. But attention, this process doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual journey of recovering your true essence, and there's one last piece of the puzzle that will dramatically accelerate your liberation. Now you're ready to embrace your new energy identity, that of someone who can no longer be drained because there are no more leaks in your personal energy. You've become a closed system, complete in itself. Wayne Dyer always said that our only real responsibility is to be faithful to our essential nature. And your essential nature was never to be an energy source for emotional vampires. Your nature is to shine with your own light, not reflect others' need for validation. This new version of you has some distinct characteristics. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to those who aren't interested in truly understanding you. Your decisions come from a place of internal clarity, not from a need for external approval. You become selective with your energy like never before. Not out of arrogance, but from genuine self-love. You understand that your mental peace is a treasure that must be carefully protected. And here's what will surprise you. The more you protect your energy, the more you have to give to people who really matter. It's like stopping throwing money in the trash. Suddenly, you have much more resources to invest in what has real value. Narcissists will gradually disappear from your life, not because you dramatically expelled them, but because you no longer offer what they're looking for. It's like poisonous flowers that wither when planted in healthy soil. And new people will appear. People who vibrate on the same frequency of emotional health that you've developed. Relationships based on mutual energy exchange, not unilateral parasitism. Remember, you have the divine right to inner peace. It's not selfishness to protect your energy, it's spiritual responsibility. You can't give what you don't have, and if you're constantly drained, you have nothing genuine to offer the world. Your journey of energy liberation doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Each day, you'll discover new layers of strength and serenity you didn't even know existed within you. If this content resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe to the channel because we're going to continue exploring paths to a life free from energy vampires. Your inner peace is worth more than any toxic relationship. Always remember that.